So I want to briefly go over, not briefly actually, pretty extensively go over the hybrid running and strength plan. So I have a Google document here, and what I want to cover here is going to be the layout of this plan. So I'm just going to jump right in. I'm not going to talk about why, blah, blah, blah. We're just going to jump in. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow a conjugate lifting approach with our running, uh, not to overdo it. We are not going to focus on any VO2 max or very fast interval sessions. And again, that is simply because we're also strength training here. So we don't want to tax ourselves too much on our runs, but we're still going to get our intervals in. So that being said, we're going to have 3 runs. So day 1, we're going to do an interval or tempo run. Day 2 is going to be a long run, and day 3 is going to be an easy run. Then for the strength, we're going to have 2 options. So option A is going to be 3 days a week. Option B is going to be 4 days a week. Before I talk about those days, the key point to keep in mind here is that if we are doing the 3-day-a-week option, that we do not ever have to do a double day. But if we're doing the 4-day-a-week option, we're going to have to do a double day. So if you're someone who can't train twice a day, and that could be something, I think in the plan, I put the easy run as your double day. So if 1 day a week, you can get an easy run in the morning and a lift in the evening, then you're all set. But if you're someone who cannot get a double day in, a 2-a-day of training in, just follow the 3-day plan. You'll still make plenty of gains. So the way it'll work for the 3-day is a lower, an upper, and then a full body day. The way it'll work for the 4-day-a-week plan, if you're familiar with Conjugate at all, it'll follow a classic Conjugate approach. So we'll go heavy lower, heavy upper, heavy lower, heavy upper. Again, this is a Conjugate approach. I'm not calling it West Side because it's inspired by West Side. If anyone's not familiar, Louis Simmons was the founder of West Side and the West Side method. I learned a lot about what I understand about Conjugate from Jason Brown, who kind of brought it to the CrossFit space a little bit. So I just want to kind of give credit where it's due there. But because of how I change things up, it definitely is not West Side in nature. But if you're familiar with Conjugate at all, this split here will look very familiar. So that being said, when are we going to hit these days? And if you're someone that wants to hit like your own kind of split, you can kind of forget what this says. You just hit a lower day, you hit an upper day, and you hit a full body day. Hit a lower day, an upper day, a lower day, an upper day. So you don't have to follow a conjugate approach if you don't want to really. So this will be option 1 on how we're going to lay those days out. So 3 days of running, 3 days of lifting. We're simply going to rotate. So we'll go lift, run, lift, run, lift, run. But the key point I want to mention here is on your tempo day, so we'll highlight this here. On your tempo day, I don't like that color. Well, maybe we'll hit it, whatever, that's fine. And on your long run day, your order doesn't matter too much. But on your tempo day and your long run day, what you don't want to do is hit a heavy lower day beforehand. So if you see this is heavy upper, the heavy lower is here in the middle of the week. Let's make that green for fun. That's some bright colors. So what that means is you're hitting your interval session because we need to focus on our run here because that's the most important, well, your 2 important runs are your long run and your interval run. But so you're going to tire out your legs a little bit on that run, or a lot of it, depending on what exactly that run looks like. Then we'll go into that heavy lower the next day. So we're going to have 2 hard days here. And I mean, this heavy upper is a hard day too. So we got hard, hard, hard. But then we're going to follow it up with just an easy run on Thursday. So what you don't want to do is hit your heavy lower and then the next day. So you wouldn't want it to be like this. I'm going to mess it all up here, but we'll just backtrack here in a second. You wouldn't want this. This would be bad because now you're hitting your heavy legs and then the next day you're hitting your intervals. So you're not going to be able to hit your paces. I'll make a future video on like what your paces look like, how we'll lay out the individual days. This is the broad overview. If I talked about everything, this video would probably be an hour long. So what you can do, you also don't want to hit your heavy legs on the day before your long run because then you'll have heavy legs. Your legs will be heavy, they'll be tired going into your long run. But you can hit this full body speed session or you can hit the speed lower session before your long run because that's not going to fatigue your legs as much. Cool, I kind of don't want those highlights there, so we'll get rid of those. Hop into option 2. This is your 4-day option. So jumping into that, we're gonna have three, we're gonna have to have that double day. So where did I put that double day? So on that double day, I had that slightly messed up here. On that double day, what we are going to do is there's going to be two options. I laid it out this way. There's another way we can lay it out. I'll show you that briefly as well. So for that double day option, what you can do, and real quick, if you comment below this video, just comment, I mean, you comment anything, comment run, and I'll make sure to get you a copy of this sheet here so you can have it for yourself, or you can just grab some screenshots, whatever you want to do. Cool. So we're going to keep Monday hard. So I like to call it keeping hard days hard. So we're going to pretty much just freaking wreck ourselves on Monday and then follow that up with 3 easier days. Then we're going to have that heavy upper going into that long run. So the reason I laid it out like this, and there's other ways you can lay it out, but with this layout is that we never have tired legs from any of our sessions. So I'll show you in a second here how we could flip this up. But when we keep these hard days hard, so yes, you're going to have tired legs going into this heavy lower session. So if strength is a priority of yours, we're going to focus on maybe laying this out a different way so that your legs are not as tired as you're going into that session. But much of the same, we just need to have a little more flexibility. So what we could do here, and I'm going to do this in real time, so it might take me 1 second to talk through it. Actually, I'll just pause this video so I can lay it out instead of you having to listen to me ramble. So this is just one other way you could lay it out. This way would probably be a little bit better than the previous way if your focus is on strength, specifically leg strength. Maybe we're trying to build up your squats or your deadlifts. So all we did was kind of move the days around a little bit. So we're going to start the week with that on day 1, we're going to have our double day. So you're starting off Mondays with a bang. And again, this is infinitely move aroundable, changeable. We're going to start the days with that start the week with the easy run in the morning, followed by that heavy lower session in the evening. So now on that heavy lower session, and again, you can just move this stuff. The reason I put the heavy lower here is because I don't want the heavy lower on Thursday, because now you might have some delayed onset muscle soreness going into Saturday. So we put it here, so you might have a little bit going into the interval session, but you'll be able to work through that in your warm-ups. So that being said, what was I saying? So then we're going to go speed upper, because now we're not having any fatigue here, and we're going to hit speed lower the day after the interval session. I will say, I do prefer this layout. Typically, if you're going to get that double day in, but I know getting 2 hard sessions in is probably going to be a stretch for most people, which if that's the case, just come back up to the 3-day option and it's perfect for you. You're still getting in everything that you need for the week. And again, I mean, there's infinitely changeable ways. I mean, really just get your runs in. Don't hit a heavy lower day right before your interval and preferably right before your long run, and you're going to be good to go. These are just 2 ways to lay it out. I do want to share briefly what I do. Now mine's a little different because I do 2 things differently. Number 1, I hit my long run during the week, which is something most people can't pull off. And then number 2, I add in CrossFit. So the way I do it is I start my week off with a bang. So I start with those intervals. And I do my interval on my tempo on Monday, and then I hit my heavy lower in the evening. I just make sure I eat a ton of food that day, and it works out fine. Day 2, no running, and I hit something like maybe just like a quick snatch. Because usually I'll hit cleans on this heavy lower day. So maybe I'm hitting like some snatches here, and then I do a CrossFit workout. Wednesday, I hit my heavy upper, and then I do a CrossFit workout. Thursday, I get my long run in. So as you can see, I hit heavy upper here. So now it's been however many days since my long run. So that's where the beauty of getting that long run in really comes into play. And then what I like to do is, so that I can fit the CrossFit in as well, I hit my easy run on Friday. So I throw another double day in here on Fridays. I just wake up, I get that easy run in, and then I hit my speed lower in the evening. And then on Saturdays, I hit my speed upper, which works out well, because then I can jump into a CrossFit workout, because now I have Sundays off. So I can kind of do whatever I need to in that CrossFit workout if that's going to be a heavy leg session. I will say what I try to avoid on this CrossFit session is anything leg intensive. So basically, that's the whole layout. Like I said, comment, run below. I'll get you this sheet one way or another, or just grab some screenshots. I will make future videos breaking down what these sessions look like. So please comment if there's one you want to see first. Like if you want to hear like what a heavy upper looks like first, or if you want to see like what my tempo or interval runs look like first, please comment, because if not, I'm going to make them in whatever order I feel like making them in. And if you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.